Recently during prison outreach, we got on the topic of love and what is love, and what's it like for a man to love his family, a husband to love his wife. And as we were talking about love, I remembered a story and I shared it with the prisoners. And years ago, I was still active duty Marine, and I had gotten home late this particular night, and it's probably 10 or 11 o'clock at night. But when I got home, my oldest daughter at the time was 4 years old. She was still awake, and I was just so happy that she was still awake. I got to play with her, I got to rest with her, tickle her, chase her around the front room. And so we had enough time to play, and it was time for her to go to bed. And I picked her up and I carried her to her bed, and she said, "Daddy, would you read me a bedtime story?" I said, "Honey, we've already played. It's time for bed now." And she said, "Please, Daddy." And I said, "Honey, I haven't eaten yet. I've got to take a shower." And then she said, "Please, please, 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 please." And I'm going to stick to my guns. I said, "No, honey, it's way late. I've got to take a shower. I have to eat. I have to get my uniform ready for tomorrow." And then I could see her adjusting her strategy. And she said, "Well, would you at least read me a story from the Bible?" And now this was low even for a 4-year-old. And I couldn't say no to that. So I grabbed the Bible as I laid her down. I grabbed her bedtime story Bible, and I was reading about Jesus' first miracle and how he turned water into wine, and how Mary even told the disciples, "Do whatever Jesus asks." And my daughter interrupted me and said, "Daddy, who was Mary married to?" And I said, "Well, Mary was married to Joseph." And she thought about that for a second, and then she asked, if she was married to Joseph, then why did she have God's baby? And this just messed me up. I froze. I didn't know how to answer this to a 4-year-old. I mean, how do you explain the virgin birth to a 4-year-old child? And I'm frozen, I'm panicking, I'm thinking her faith is going to hinge on whatever I say, and she's waiting for me to answer this question, and her future relationship with God is in jeopardy right now. And I'm thinking, and she interrupts me again, and my daughter says, "Daddy, Daddy, listen to my heart." I put my ear on her chest, and I says, "Oh, honey, I can hear your heart. It's going boom, boom, bam, boom, boom, bam." And my daughter says, "Oh, wow, Jesus must be in there jamming." And then she fell right to sleep. This was a priceless moment. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. And I was still relieved that I didn't have to answer that question. But God spoke to my spirit, and he said, "Nick, you almost missed that." And as I thought about that, I felt God just teaching me, showing me. He said, love is not a chore, it's an opportunity. What you did tonight by reading her that story, that was love. You laid down your life for her. And that really ministered to me. And I began to see other things like doing dishes or giving my wife a massage. These are opportunities to love. These are not chores. And it changed my perspective. And as I shared this with the men that night, they understood and they got it. And I shared with them that even Jesus said, no man has greater love than this, than he would lay his life down for his friend. That includes your wife and your kids. And so remember that loving is never a chore. Loving is always an opportunity. God bless you.